everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Let me start out the video by saying that more than likely I won't be doing a video tomorrow. I've got to cover high school basketball, which I love. So I won't be getting home until probably close to midnight tomorrow night. And then I'll have nothing prepared, nothing written down, and I've got to work the next morning. So tomorrow there probably won't be a video. I'm just explaining why there won't be a video. Hey there, Marcus. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Sunday night. For the rest of you, if you come on here, make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so, and feel free to leave a comment section or leave a comment in the comment section down below. I want to first say congratulations to the Eagles and the Chiefs for winning their respective conference championship games. They'll meet in 2 weeks in the big game. And Marcus, I think the Eagles are going to win it. I was just fixing to say that. If it was the Eagles and the Bills, I would have picked the Bills to win it. But since it's the Eagles and the Chiefs, I'll pick the Eagles to win it. But I just want it to be a good game, just like the national championship game. I did see earlier today, it may have been this morning, that the big game in 2 weeks is actually going to be aired live on Tubi, which of course almost everybody has Tubi now because Tubi is free and it's on your smart TV automatically. So if you go to your local retailer and buy a new modern day flat screen TV that has a smart TV hooked into it, which most of them do, automatically on a smart TV you've got Tubi. So almost everybody has Tubi, and Fox now owns Tubi, and of course the big game is on Fox. But honestly, I think you're going to see more and more games start going to these streaming services. I mentioned the other day about NASCAR, having their first ever 24/7 channel starting on Wednesday. And they say, at least for now, they're not going to be airing live races. They're going to show the races on tape delay, probably, the week after, maybe 2 weeks down the road, but no live races. But they're going to show classic races, but they're going to show the Hall of Fame ceremony and radioactive and daily NASCAR talk. Hey there, I'm going to say your name is Nico. Hopefully that is correct. Hey there, Dragos. Glad you are here. Hey there, Nanda. Glad you are here. But NASCAR for now doesn't want to put live races on there. But I think over time you're going to see more and more people put live stuff on there. Hey there, Happy Man. I am from the deep South. Thank you for asking. But I know these companies don't want to put, their games or races, whatever, on these free streaming services because you get money from these TV contracts. But I saw the other day that there's only 68 million people now that have cable, and there's 180 million that have Amazon Prime. And that's over 2 times as many people that have Amazon Prime that have cable. And I think there are probably, if I had to guess, more people that have Peacock than there is Amazon Prime, because Prime Video hasn't been around that long, whereas Peacock's been around now for 2 or 3 years. So if I had to guess, I would say there's probably more folks that have Peacock than there is have Prime Video, and I know there's more that have Hulu and Netflix that have Prime Video. So over time, if you run any kind of sporting business or sports venture, you're going to be better off putting your games or your race on the streaming service, because you're going to get more views that way than you will putting them on national television. But also you got to look at it, if you put your game on a streaming service, yeah, It's free to watch, so you might lose money on the TV contract, but then those same fans that are saving money off the TV contract can use that money to buy their team's merchandise or their race car drivers' merchandise. That's very funny, Gerald. Very funny. You're here to talk about my extended warranty. And hey there, Austin. Glad you are here. And Nanda, I am always happy because, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a bad day. There are bad moments, but not bad days. So if you don't believe in bad days, and there's no reason to not be happy all the time, so that is why I'm happy all the time. It is going fantastic, Austin. Thank you for asking. Right now, I'm talking about the NFL and a little bit of NASCAR, just as a side note. But in a minute, I'm going to be getting to some WWE wrestling. I'm getting there eventually. And I know everybody's tired of seeing the Chiefs win, and I understand that. But I think if there's one sport that can handle it, it's the NFL. And the reason why I say that is, I'm a huge baseball fan. And back in the day, in the mid to late 90s, there were a lot of commercials on radio and TV back in the day about home runs. They'd always have a pitcher giving up home runs, and it would say, "Chicks dig the long ball. Chicks dig the long ball," because they said all the fans wanted to see home runs. Well, then they claim the steroid trial killed baseball. I don't believe that, because that's when home runs went up. You can't tell me that you want to see more home runs because fans want home runs, and then when you get more home runs, you stop watching. That just seems kind of oxymoronic to me. I think people stopped watching because the Yankees won 3 straight World Series, and 4 out of 5. They won it in 96 over the Braves, and then they won it in 98 over the Padres, 99 over the Braves, and 2000 over the Mets. So I think baseball fans are like, you know what? I'm done watching. I'm wasting 6 months of my life, if not 7, when I know the end result's going to be the Yankees are going to win it. And as a NASCAR fan, Jimmy Johnson destroyed NASCAR by winning 5 straight championships, because NASCAR is the longest sport there is. You're talking about basically 10 months. And people just got tired of wasting 10 months of their life every year. The end result come November is going to be Jimmy Johnson wins the championship. But you can't go out there and tell Jimmy Johnson, "Hey, Jimmy, stop dominating, stop winning." It was up to the drivers to stop him, and it destroyed NASCAR. And it's taken NASCAR 15 years to recover, and they're just now getting their fan support back. But the NFL continues to grow in popularity every single year. So I honestly don't know it matters who plays in the big game, who wins. NFL fans are still going to watch. The NFL changes the rules every year, and people complain about, the NFL is getting so soft. The NFL is getting so soft. I'm not going to watch anymore. And then when the TV ratings come out, it gets more popular. It does every year. And I mentioned this the other day, but the NFL could take the Raiders and the Saints, who are 2 of the worst teams in the league this year, and put them in the big game in 2 weeks, and 50 million people would watch. So the NFL doesn't care who's in the big game, because they know the fans are going to watch it regardless. And yes, Austin, the Royal Rumble is on February the 1st. So congratulations to the Eagles and the Chiefs. And Saquon Barkley's just been so good this year. I think the Eagles are going to run the ball just enough to win the game, but it should be a good game. But let's talk about the Royal Rumble, which, by the way, I've got a huge wrestling show coming up 1 week from today, next Sunday afternoon, that I'll be talking about coming up in the next couple of days. But for now, let's talk about the Royal Rumble. They've only announced 4 matches, and I could see them adding one more just to make it 5. But at the same time, Triple H has pretty much showed us that outside of WrestleMania, he only likes to go about 3 hours. And I think these 4 matches are going to take about 3 hours. So they may not add another match. But let's talk about the 4 matches that are signed so far. Of course, we have the men's Royal Rumble and the women's Royal Rumble. And the good thing about it this year is most of the time, come late November, early December, people already start saying, so and so's going to win the Rumble. I can see it coming. It's too predictable. So and so's going to win. But this year, it's 6 days away. And honestly, really, truly, nobody has any idea who's going to win it. But I think that's good for wrestling because you don't want predictability. And if it's 6 days away and nobody has any idea who's going to win, then that's what you want. So I think the men's and women's should both be really good because nobody has any clue. But don't be surprised to see Charlotte Flair win the women's Rumble. I was hoping they weren't going to announce her return. It was just going to be a surprise. But they've announced it now, so everybody knows she's going to be in it. But don't be surprised to see her win it. Austin, you might be right. I could see Cena winning it, but I just don't think there's a purpose for him to win it because I don't see Cena winning the championship. And, of course, winning the Rumble means you go on, have a championship match. So I could see Cena winning it, but in my opinion, it's pointless. So we have the men's Rumble, we have the women's Rumble, and then we have a ladder match for the undisputed WWE Championship between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. This will be an absolutely fantastic match. But I think Cody Rhodes wins the match. I've said ever since Cody Rhodes won the title last year that I think he keeps that title up until at least WrestleMania, and I still feel that way. So I think Cody Rhodes wins that match. And then we have a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships, the Motor City Machine Guns against DIY, and I think Motor City Machine Guns wins that match. So I've got Motor City Machine Guns winning the WWE Tag Team Championship match, 2 out of 3 falls, and I've got Cody Rhodes defeating Kevin Owens in the ladder match for the undisputed WWE Championship. And if I had to make a prediction on who wins the Rumbles, I'll say the women is, as I said, Charlotte Flair, and the men, maybe give me Randy Orton or CM Punk, one of those two. But really, and I'm just going out on a limb and guessing, I really truly have no idea. But as I mentioned, that's what you want, because if people start predicting in December who's going to win it and they're right, then they start saying, oh, it's too predictable. So I'm predicting just for the fun of it, just as a guess. I really, truly have no idea. So give me either CM Punk or Randy Orton for the men, and give me Charlotte Flair for the women. But I am not confident in either one of those. Those are just my predictions. So hopefully I'm wrong. I want to be wrong, but it's not like I actually think CM Punk or Randy Orton wins the Rumble. I'm just throwing names out there. I really, truly have no idea. Any of the 30 guys in the match could win it, and it wouldn't surprise me. But Charlotte Flair will more than likely win the Women's Rumble. I hope she doesn't, but she probably will. But those are just my predictions. As I said, those 4 matches will take up 3 hours because the Men's Rumble is going to be 1 hour. The Women's Rumble is going to be 1 hour. And then, of course, you've got to have the opening intro package. You've got to have the national anthem. You've got to set up for both matches. That puts you at about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And you know that Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens are going to go for at least 30 minutes. So now you're at 2 hours and 45 minutes. And DIY versus the Machine Guns is going to go at least 15 minutes. So now you're at 3 hours. So those 4 matches are going to give you at least 3 hours of wrestling. So if you don't add one match, the people are going to say, man, you've got a premium live event with only 4 matches. Then if you do add one, they're going to say, oh, it took too long. So either way, they're going to complain. Hopefully it stays at just 4, because I would rather them have just 4 than to add one match just to say, hey, we had 5 matches. and it's just some filler match. There's no point in having that. Austin, I do like Roman Reigns now. When he first came along, I liked him, and then I didn't like him because after he broke in, all he did for 5 years was a spear and his big punch, and it was like, man, this guy can't wrestle. Then he went away for a while because of his health issues. Then he came back and turned bad and started actually wrestling, and now I like him. But 5 or 6 years ago, I didn't like him. And I like Charlotte as a wrestler. I think Charlotte's a phenomenal wrestler. I always have. I just don't like her because to me she's gotten catered to because she's Ric Flair's daughter. Anybody that knows anything about me knows I don't like people that get catered to in any sport. That's why in NASCAR I've never liked Chase Elliott because in my opinion, Chase Elliott, just like Dale Jr., is only in the sport because his last name is Elliott. If his name was Chase Matthews, he wouldn't be in NASCAR. But because he's Bill's son, he's out there. He's gotten catered to. And to me, they've always catered to Charlotte Flair and done too much with her because she's Ric Flair's daughter. Now, she's an amazing wrestler, a phenomenal wrestler. But I just think she gets pushed too much and gets catered to too much just because she's Ric Flair's daughter. But she's still an amazing wrestler. And Austin, I don't like Seth Rollins. I never have. Hey there, Kevron. Glad to have you here. Back when they had the Shield, I thought the Shield was the worst thing I ever saw because at that time, I didn't like Roman Reigns. I didn't like Seth Rollins. And I have never liked Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, whatever you want to call him. I have never liked him. So when the Shield was on TV, it was a waste of my 30 minutes or 25, or how long it lasted. I never liked him. Roman Reigns has finally grown on me, but I've never liked Seth Rollins, and I've never liked Dean Ambrose. My biggest issue with Seth Rollins, and it's probably my fault, because they always say when you watch, sports or music, whatever it is, if you like somebody, don't listen to how they are off TV because a lot of times when you find out their true identity, you don't like them anymore. And I've just heard Seth Rollins talk too many times, and he just comes across as a complete, total, utter douchebag. So, despite the fact that Seth Rollins is an amazing wrestler, he's a complete douchebag, a complete tool. And I just can't support somebody who is just a complete idiot, a complete imbecile, an absolute jerk of a human being. But if I had never known that he was a jerk, I'd probably like him. He's a great wrestler, but he is an absolute jerk. And Austin, I don't know who's talking about Charles Robinson, so I don't even know what you mean by asking that question. I haven't seen in the chat anybody mention Charles Robinson, and I know I ain't mentioned Charles Robinson, so you have to tell me what you mean by asking about Charles Robinson because nobody talks about referees, so I'm not aware of what you're asking me about. So I'll go out with Charlotte winning the Women's Rumble and either Randy Orton or CM Punk winning the Men's Rumble. And then I'll say Cody Rhodes beats Kevin Owens. And I'll say that the Machine Guns beat DIY. That's my predictions for the Royal Rumble. And again, congratulations to the Eagles and the Chiefs for winning their respective conference championship games. And they'll meet in 2 weeks for the big game. And, of course, the pregame show that day starts at, I think, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the kickoff of the game will be about 6:45 on the East Coast. So if anybody watches 5 hours and 45 minutes of a pregame show, then you're a heck of a football fan. Let me say that. But let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I told my wife I'm changing my password to penis, and she said, I don't think it's long enough. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love him. Austin, I know that Charles Robinson is a referee, but I don't know why you were just all of a sudden out of the blue asking about him. How did he get brought up? How did he get mentioned? What made you ask about him? I know who he is. I probably know more referees by name than anybody on the planet. So I'm aware of who he is. I just don't know how he got brought up. What made you ask about him? I was just talking about the actual matches and never mentioned a referee. So I'm not sure how he got brought up. But bye.